All right, welcome everybody back to another episode of the Austin Alcorn Show, where I invite my friends, my fellow entrepreneurs, business people, car enthusiasts, all the above, to interview them, learn about them, and get a little bit of their perspective. And today I've got a special guest, my friend Kye Bourne. Welcome to the show, my friend.
What up, what up?
You know, another day in paradise. Another day in paradise. How are you?
I've been good, man. Can't complain.
You did say, actually, before the camera started rolling, that you got back from Pahrump.
Yep.
And that was a morning run, a night run?
No, it was morning. This morning. Shoot, 3 hours
You
ago.
just
2
got
hours
back
ago.
now?
Yep, probably less than 40 minutes ago.
I'm assuming car related.
It is. It's always car related. Anytime I go out of town or anytime I can go out of town, I'm always doing something car related. Even if I'm with family or something like that.
Okay.
It's always in some way, shape, or form. It's usually car related.
Well, before we jump into the topic, talk to me about cars. What got you into cars? What do you do with cars now? And before we dive into depth, what do you drive?
So, my history in cars, man, it goes back to knee-high days. Grandparents, I should say, got me into Hot Wheels, as a lot of parents and grandparents do. And I've always had a liking for cars, right? Then as I got older, you get your license, start twirling a key with lanyard on it in high school, you know what I'm saying? So
The lanyard, hold on.
yeah.
Before we go further, what was on the lanyard? We gotta
So,
know.
my parents had an extra car.
Would it be
It
a
was,
Denver Broncos lanyard? Any chance?
Never that.
Ah.
Never that.
Okay.
So, originally, my parents had an extra car, right? It was a 2004 Expedition. So I was hyped to get it, right? It was the first big, family car that my parents had got. And I always knew the rule in our house was you turn 16, you get a cell phone, you get a car. Cool. My sister got hers. My sister's 3 years older than I am. She got her car, and I was like, cool. It's almost time. My day is coming up. So, turned 16. I didn't get my own car, but my dad's like, look, I'm gonna let you drive the Expedition, take care of it. Kind of gave me a little bit of room on a leash type deal, and I wanted to do so much stuff to it, right? But it still was like my dad's baby. It was like his first big purchase. So he's like, I don't want you doing anything to this car because I don't think you can work on it if it breaks, whatever the case may be. Long story short, had that car from when I was into my sophomore year all the way till my senior year. Once I graduated and I wasn't able to really do anything that I wanted to make it kind of my own personal car, I went out and bought a 98 Integra.
That was your first car?
That was my first car that I purchased. Yeah. So that thing was
That's a staple in the
it was a
in the
Ferrari to
JDM
me.
world.
I was like, this is the fastest thing.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what I'm saying? The west side of the Mississippi.
The round headlights.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, didn't tell my parents. They were on vacation when I bought it. They came back and they was like, what's this? And I was like, it's my car. And my dad's like, boy, you in for a load of surprise. I'm like, nah, I got a deal on it. Blah, 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 blah. And he was like, okay. He's like, where are my keys? I was like, here. He gave me the keys. He was like, all right, you got your own insurance. He's like, you got your car note. He's like, that's it. You're on your own.
That's how it started.
And that's how it started, So with that car came a lot of, obviously, responsibility, learning how to work on it, trying to figure out where to go to get it worked on. Because I liked working on cars, but I didn't really know my way around them. And on the Expedition, anything that broke, like my dad kind of took care of it for me. But I winded up driving home one day from work. Car starts making all this noise and racket, and I hear a loud boom. Come to find out, timing belt snapped. I bent all 16 valves in the cylinder head, right? So I'm like, dang, what am I going to do? Tell my dad. He was like, it's your car. You got to figure it out. Took it to a shop. It was, the shop wanted to be in a friend of my dad's. And he's like, yeah. He's like, he's going to need, all new components in the head. And I was like, okay, how much is that going to be worth? Or how much is it going to be? After all of it was done, said and done, I think it was right around like $3,800 to like $4,000. I was like,
Nice.
I don't got that much money. Like, what am I gonna do?
First car action.
I was like, talk to him. So he's a good, like I said, he's a good friend of my dad. So he let me kind of do payments. And after it was all said and done, started hanging out with, another friend of mine that worked on cars and had his own shop. And he was like, oh yeah, you spent a good amount of money on your car. Like, it's built, right? I was like, no. He's like, how much did you spend when it broke? I was like, right around that $4,000 mark. And he's like, and it's not
the
built.
car was built, right?
He was like, I was like, no, like, what is it supposed to be? Like, he was like, all right. So we sat down on his computer, went through all these options, like you put the filter where it's like highest to lowest, price. Mm-hmm. He clicked highest, selected, valves, cams, all the components, whatever, springs, et cetera, et cetera. And he goes, this is like $2,300. He's like, labor-wise, he's like, Kye, we could have did this in maybe like a weekend. And he's like, you got. And I was like, what? He was like, he was helping me out. He's like, he probably was with the payments, but he's like, it's all original parts. He's like, you could have got upgraded parts, and the car would have been faster, the whole nine. And I was like, so from that day forward, I said, anything on my next car that I get, I'm going to do everything on it. So drove that car for maybe like another 6 months. Had a friend of mine that had a Mitsubishi Evo. Hit a 240. I think he wrecked it. And then he calls me and my boy out one day. He's like, hey, come out. He's like, come outside the house. He's like, I got a new car. Cool, we come outside. This black sedan pulls up. And he's like, look. And I was like, cool, man, you got a new car. That's what's up. I didn't know what it was, right? And he's like, people don't. Let's go take a ride. Cool. So he was always the one to kind of have like the fastest car in the group. His 240 at the time was making, I don't know, like 450. This is like 2000.
Which is a lot, people. Like, stop getting spoiled with this whole 600 to 1,000 horsepower thing. 400 is a lot.
So yeah, it was making like 450 on like 18 or 19 pounds, and we thought again this car was a rocket.
19 pounds.
He did the opposite. He was drag racing the car, not drifting it like you normally would see in a 240, right? But he's like, nah, man, this is better. This is boosting 25 pounds, upgraded turbo, injectors, da-da-da-da-da. Took a ride. I was like, what is this? Mm-hmm. He's like, it's all-wheel drive.
There it is.
He's like, it's, a bigger turbo, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what is an Evo?
Yeah.
He's like, remember that car in Too Fast, Too Furious, that yellow-green one?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. He's like, this is it. But that's an Evo 7. He's like, this is an Evo 8. It's a year newer or generation newer. I was like, all right, man. I was like, this thing's dope. I was like, congratulations, whatever. I was like, joking around. If you ever sell it, hit me up. I'll buy it. A year or two goes by. I think his parents winded up getting needed some help health-wise. And he's like, hey, I'm moving back to Florida to help my mom and my dad. And I was like, all right, man. I was like, cool, what you going to do with the car? You going to drive it down there? He was like, that's what I'm calling you for.
No way.
He was like, you want to buy it? I was like, you serious? He was like,
what?
Yeah. He's like, I'm not taking it with me. He's like, unfortunately, also me and my girl broke up, and it was in her name. So she told me that she's getting ready to put it up on the market. Hit her up before, I was like, all right, whatever. And I don't know what this man did, what she did. That breakup was bad. I showed up to that house. What? I said, give me the information. Gave me the VIN number. Looked it up. He's like, oh, $9,000 left on this loan. Just take it.
What?
I was like, deal. Sold my Integra in like 2 weeks. Got rid of it. Went to the bank.
Matter of fact, do you want my Integra?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Switched everything over. Hit up his ex-girlfriend, and as soon as she walks out of the house, she's like, oh, I remember you. All right, cool. Just threw me the keys.
No way.
She was like, you know about it? I was like, yeah. I was like, what's wrong with the car? She's like, I haven't moved it in 3 months. She's like, I don't know how to drive manual. I was like, all right. I was like, well, can we take it around the block? Like, whatever. And the whole time she's just,
what? This is how you got that all this time? I had no clue.
That's how I got it.
I had no clue.
Man, the entire time I'm kind of test driving the car, she's just talking dirt on my homie.
Oh.
And I was like, look, I ain't got nothing to do with what y'all got going on. I'm here for the car, right? I'm just here for the car. And she's like, yeah, your friend is this and that. And I was like, all right, cool. And she's like, yeah, if you didn't buy it, I was probably going to drive this thing straight off a cliff or whatever. I was like, well,
Oh, no.
let me get this thing in my hands and get out of here.
Get you out of the car.
And I called him, and he's like, you get the car? I was like, yeah, I got it, man. He was like, she say anything about it? I was like, did she? I said, yeah, she did.
What do you think? You asked.
Yeah, I was
what
like,
do you think?
I was like, what did you do? I was like, he's like, man, there's a bunch of stuff. I was like, let me stop you. And he was like, how's the car look? And I was like, well, whatever you did. I was like, she knifed the seats.
Oh, no.
Like, the driver's seat was torn, through the middle, like the lumbar section. Oh. The rear seat was sliced through. Like, she was in there. Kicking stuff, whatever, right?
It was his car in her name?
It was his car in her name. He's like, I guess,
So
credit,
her
whatever. Yeah, credit wasn't in the right spot. They were in a good spot, whatever. And he was like, I'm just glad that you got it. So I bought the car in 2015. I've had it 10 years now. I still hit him up. I would never sell the car, but I've even hit him up like, hey, man, if you ever want to buy it back, it's yours. He's like, nah, Kye, the car's not mine no more. Like, it's yours. He's like, I'm glad it went to you because I knew you were gonna take care of it.
What? Dude, I did not know that was
Yeah, it was wild. It was wild. Yeah. It was a wild situation.
It's always cool hearing stories like that. Like, you don't hear too many of them, but when you hear stories of like how people get their cars sometimes, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, you drive to school every day. It's just been in this garage or this driveway for the last 10 years. Or, oh, my friend's mom, didn't want it or inherited it. Just gave it to me. Yeah, there's a bunch of crazy stories out there.
Unfortunate things happen, and they don't even want to see the car. Just get it out. I've heard those stories. I hear them all the time. It's just like, dang. But when you hear them, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's really how you got the car?
Yep.
That's a come up.
And I was like, I can't let it go.
What have you done? What have you done with that? Like, talk to me about the car. I know, obviously, you've done some engine work to it. Mm-hmm. It's an EVO, so I'm sure it does a little bit of power. Talk to me about the year. For those that may not know the car, you don't have to talk, big numbers or logistics because it may lose some. But lightly, let's let the people know what you're pushing around.
So 2003 Lancer Evolution. It's a 2.0 from the factory. And I have a 2.1 stroker version of it. It's had a few different renditions or different additions to it. This is the third engine build on it. This is probably, I'll say so far, the best version, but it's 2.1 stroker. I got a big turbo on it. GTX 3584 RS, 2200 cc injectors, 3-inch intercooler piping, 4-inch intercooler. It's a cast iron block, forged internals.
Talk to me nicely.
It's all done, right? So it's been a journey. Definitely having the car 10 years, it's been a journey with it. But the most I've made on the car was right around 820 horsepower.
Gosh. And that's all-wheel drive too.
That's all-wheel drive. So
and that's to the floor. That's
straight to the wheels.
Golly.
And I say it all the time. We've had this conversation before. I think a lot of Evo owners we're spoiled because people are like, oh yeah, how much is it? How much is it making? I'm like, it's making like 500, 600. It's like, it's not that much, And you're like, what? 500, 600? Like that's
what I'm saying. I think we've had this conversation so many times. The world, as we know it, has been spoiled, especially even with electric cars. We've been spoiled with much torque that, horsepower doesn't even necessarily justify your 0 to 60, but everyone focuses on, I have 1,000 horsepower and 0 to 60 is 3 whatever. It's like, dude, what about the car though?
It's so normal, right? And I always say, I kind of have to, slap myself back into reality because I think about when I had my Integra, I was like, I think that thing maybe made like 180 to 200 horsepower. And it was screaming. I mean, I would rev that thing out and, going through the airport tunnel and all that stuff, right? But yeah, I say we're spoiled all the time because it's so easy to gain power in those cars. Like, you could do bolt-ons, get a different tune on the cars, and they're already making over 500. And the blocks are cast iron, so it's not really not doing any damage, but it's not really making the engine sweat.
Right.
And a lot of people that I've came in contact with or became friends with that have Evos, they're making 7+. So that's like what I'm looking at.
That's the benchmark.
That's the benchmark.
700 is the benchmark for the Evo world.
That's the bar.
Holy
so when
cow.
people are like, oh yeah, how much is it making? I'm like, it's making like 500. But I have them in reference. Like I had a friend of mine that he develops fuel systems and a bunch of billet parts for Evos. His was making 11.
Holy.
And I was close with him, right?
In a four cylinder.
In a 4-cylinder.
Now let me do this again. This is a good friend of mine and a master Evo tech, Kye Bourne. Now let me tell you, every time I see an Evo, it's gotten to the point now, I take a picture of it and I send it to him and oh yep, that's my friend, blah 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 blah. Or, oh, yeah, I just worked on that car. Oh, yeah, I sold that car to that. And I'm like, yo, you've literally touched every car or know the owner or know the specs or what's done on the engine or it was your car or you're the tech that works on it. So, it's always impressed me in the time. I don't even know how long we've known each other, but I think even still pre-COVID, in that time, I have to say, if no one has given flowers, I'll give them now. Like, I've been really impressed and really inspired with, like, how you've been able to maneuver through that. One, it's a cool niche, but two, as a businessman and as businessmen, we know that niching down is really important, and I see that. From the outside looking in, I don't know numbers or really know anything that's going on with your business, but from my perspective, it's really cool to see you dive into that and really be so involved with that world. Because from my seat, I don't see or even really know too many Evo owners, and when I stumble on them, know them. They know you. They know your car. The people in the car will know your car. So again, if no one has given you flowers on it, today, here they are, because I've been impressed with, the process, the journey of your business, of your brand, if that's what we want to call it. And the car, I've seen in the stages that I have from being your daily driver to being black, to being engine blown up more than one time, to being repainted, to having the opportunity to polish and clean the car and maintain the car, and then even adding family to the picture too. Again, flowers to the journey from this side. I've been really impressed and inspired with what you do.
That, man. I'm always trying to strive to to be that person, right? Business owner, business that I'm communicating with that I would like to see. Unfortunately, we've all dealt with a business that has lacked in a certain area, right? Or they dropped the ball when it came to customer service, things of that nature. So as I started my business, my small business, I'm like, well, what would I like to see, or how would I like a company to communicate with me, a shop owner to communicate with me? That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm like I said, I'm just starting out. I'm still a very young small business owner, but in that I'm always going to be a student to it. I'm always asking friends and family, like, hey, if I do something wrong, let me know. that way I can, get better at it. But yeah, man, I'm always trying to be kind, be a helping hand. Again, we sometimes like being that, like I'm a mechanic, right? So I work in the shop. When I first started, we had like the older guys that obviously had been there years, year after year, and they've gained a lot of knowledge, had a lot of experience. So when us new guys came in asking questions, they would kind of look at us like, oh, here we go again. We got this new guy coming in the shop. Like, always been annoying. He's asking all these questions. But then from the rookie's perspective, it's like, I'm trying to get where you're at. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have the knowledge yet. I don't have the experience yet. I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. So with that, I'm going to ask questions, So that's what I've kind of take from it, dealing with work and then transferring that into a business. I'm asking questions all the time.
Right.
But now that I've kind of gained some experience, when people come to me asking questions, calling me, texting me, whatever, I try to be that helping hand because I know how it was when I first started out. No one wanted to really help you, or they send you on this wild goose chase, and kind of have this expectation of you should know this already, or you're dumb if you don't already have this knowledge. And it's like, bro, like I never owned this car before. I've never worked on this portion of a vehicle or whatever. Like, it's a simple question.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I've dealt with a lot, especially in the Evo community. And to be honest with you, as I guess you could say, as known as I am in the community, I'm also kind of on the outskirts of it because I don't really fit into like the cliques that are in the community. You know what I'm saying? And people always ask me like, well, do you do this and do you do that? And I'm like, look, more power to the people that are clicked up, whatever. I just let them do whatever they want. If I'm trying to hang out or I'm trying to, create an event or whatever, I was like, a lot of the times it's just on a whim. Like, I'll just text you. Like, if I want to do something, 9 times out of 10, I already have your number, and I'm just going to text you like, hey, I'm going to eat, or I'm going to the Red Rock Loop. I'm going to take some pictures. Like, if you are available, right, come on out. And then when it happens, post it on the page. I'm like, yo, when was this? Like, who orchestrated this? Who this? Who that? I'm like, oh, Kye just, hit us up, and we all went out. Why, man, I wanted to know, and I this, and I that. And it's the same thing with, like, work, right? They're like, yeah, man, I'm trying to find a shop to work on my car. I'm like, okay. You know anybody? I'm like, I work on cars. They're like, oh, okay, who did all the work on yours? I was like, I did. Really? Like, you did? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, well, man, I'm too afraid. Like, I'm too this. And I'm like, why? I was like, learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. I'm scared to buy this part because I don't know that much about it. I'm like, call the company that makes it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's a part that's missing, and we talk about that often. It's intimidating to work on a car. It's intimidating to work on a business and operate as a business. But I think we can both agree, like, a good starting point is understanding like how you didn't like to be treated.
Yeah.
Like, once you can understand, like, that's a great starting point. So starting from there, you can kind of understand like how to operate with people and being open and helping people the way you have. I think that's what's been so inviting, and really understanding, and again, understanding your lane and staying in your lane.
Yeah.
Because there's especially now with social media and the internet, and we have access to so many different things and ways of doing things. At least speaking for myself, I get lost in it sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially with social media. That's been a challenge that I've kind of been juggling lately, was like how to maneuver through it. Because with the cars, there's a lot of things and content you can kind of gather. There's the meme stuff, there's pictures, there's videos, there's all kinds of things that you can do. And as I'm working on the cars, like, dude, my camera roll is full of stuff. But I notice, like, the more that I am, hey, look at me over here, I'm free, the less the less pull and less work that comes my way.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm more limited and more, I guess, can put a specific message out the way that I want to put it out, the better response I have. And it's always easier.
Right.
It's always more
Right.
natural. You don't feel like you're pushing something. You don't feel like you're, even with events are fun and they're productive, but it's a lot of work. Like I'm not in a place where I want to do a huge, big thing of SEMA. Like, dude, let's go grab some coffee. Let's go sit down for an hour and top it up about whatever topic. But to each his own, though. Like, for some, it works.
Some people like, they like to be in that hustle and bustle of everything. And then you got the other people that are kind of not really looking to be in that scene, but they still kind of want to be able to hang out, right?
Yeah.
Like that's, I still, me and, Reggie and stuff like that, a small group of guys that own some EVOs, and it was a random, like Friday night, there was a meet at this shop or whatever. Anyway, it winded up ending, but it was early. It was like 7 o'clock, 7:30, maybe 8. And I was like, well, what are you guys doing for the rest of the night? And he's like, I don't got nothing to do. I was like, let's go bowling. Cool. I was like, hey, but before we go, I was like, I got to get gas. I was like, all right. So we drove. We're all on E85, right?
You got to go hunt it down.
Had a drive halfway across the town just to get to a station. And then once we got there, that's when we were like, oh, yeah, let's go bowling. Drove to South Point. By the time we were done, it was like 11 o'clock, 11:30. Wait another 30 minutes, like, oh, hey, we can go to Steak and Eggs. It's half off at midnight. All right. Did that.
Yeah.
Ate.
See, that's my get down.
Hung
right
out
there.
in the garage, just sat there, talked, whatever. Like, and it was a great night. Obviously took pictures, whatever, and just had good company. And then the next day, we're all, talking this and that. And we all were like, yo, that was so much fun. But it was completely unplanned, And sometimes those are like the best times when it's not, when it's not planned, And we've been to, the big shows, been to SEMA, you've been to IFO, right?
Yeah.
And although those are great, the amount of resources that has to go in order for those shows not only to work, but to then be successful, right, and profitable.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and it's for sure not a one-man show. It's definitely a team that it takes. But sometimes, that can be a lot. It's like, man, I don't want to go through all that, man. I don't want to.
Even going to it, like now as kids, like, we'll just go to the park real quick.
Yeah, I took the little ones to
sometimes I'll just take one
last year.
Okay.
And my daughter was losing her mind.
Yeah.
As soon as that car passed, she was like, I don't know where we're at, but we need to get out of here now. Like,
we need to go, and all you want to do is just watch the cars. Like, come on, baby.
The earth is shaking. Dad, I don't know why you're smiling.
Headphones on.
Yeah, need to leave now. We're in danger.
This is terrible.
And she's like, I can't, but stuff like that, it's like, you know what? Maybe later when she's older, she might, be more open to it. But sometimes you think about that, you're like, man, this event is gonna be so dope, but these kids ain't gonna cooperate with me. So
even loading the car up.
Yeah. Even I went to that show in Cali, Mitsubishi Owners Day, and the whole family was with me, and we had to drive maybe like 35 minutes from my grandmother's house that lives out there to this to the show, and the whole time my kids are like, this car is so loud. Mommy, like screaming. We're like, why are you screaming? But they got headphones on, this, that. I got the windows down because it's California weather,
cruising.
right? I'm just enjoying it. It's too loud. It's cold. It's hot. It's this. I'm like, oh, gosh, yeah. And then, all of that. And then now, as I got closer to the event, other EVOs are popping up, this and that. And they're, flying past us and whatever. But yeah, it can be a lot when it comes to stuff like that. But sometimes the low-key nights, pulling up, to, like a Sonic or a Cane's or In-N-Out or whatever, and just chopping it up, is usually like the kind of the go-to move because it's more, it's chill.
I've noticed that with the Evo world, I don't drive one, but now driving a Subaru, it's very it's, I don't want to say small because the world is big, but it's very like especially if you drive one, it's a very friendly, like small things happen everywhere. Like there's always something going on for Subarus. Like there's Chick-fil-A runs, dude, it's like every other night there's something going on. There's pictures being taken. So, the car world it's more than just driving the cars, especially if you enjoy them. You said you're a tech. Where are you turning wrenches? Where do you work?
So I work out of the on the east side of the city in Henderson at Finley Volkswagen. So been there, started in 2015, and I've been there, since. Started as a lot porter, washing cars, pulling cars up to the front, and now I'm a tech inside. Or been a tech inside since 2017. So I'm in the used car department. Although I work on Volkswagens, I'm working on, Dodge, I'm working on Ford, I'm working on Chevy. We've had some Mitsubishis come through there, some exotics come through there. We had a C8, we had a Maserati, we had a Lambo one time come through.
Really?
It didn't touch my hands, but it just came through, and they were like, "Yeah, let's do a quick look over it. We already got it sold," and I was like, "All right, cool," But I'm kind of I'm able to see a bunch of different makes and models that come through our shop. So, yeah.
So you're working on your Evo, and you work on or at Volkswagen out in Henderson. So it's not just like a hobby, like a small thing for you.
So
like
you
really do this, and have been doing it for 10 years coming up, if not past it.
I'm tired.
No, I think it's a good thing. This is something that I kind of juggle in my mind, or on the journey is, with the business, you think, I want to do more, I want to grow more, so on and so forth. But again, speaking for myself, I don't necessarily think growing the business is better. I've realized that, and this may sound cliche, we can talk a little bit more if you want, but managing money and saving money, what am I doing with the money that I'm making? I've realized that question is so much more important than how much am I making, or can I make more? Where am I placing it, and what am I doing with it has been kind of like the forefront of everything that I've been doing now.
Yeah.
Because I've realized like necessarily making more, because for me as a detailing business, to make more, I need more units, I need more hands, I need to be doing more cars per day. Not that I don't do it a lot or enough, but to do more, I would need to do more.
Yeah.
And is the liability necessarily worth that extra little bit more money? And I think about that all the time, especially moving clients' cars.
Yeah.
Even if I have like a helping hand. I was moving a Rolls Royce at the Panamera yesterday, and before I moved it around, like I get in some of these cars sometimes, and I'm like, yo. And they just leave me with the keys, like, yeah, just move it around and this and that. And the parking lot is so small, and like if you don't know Panorama Towers, they got the little plaza in the front, the little shops or whatever, and they've got these weird walls along the sidewalk, and you back up. Like, dude, there's no room to back up this huge Rolls Royce. Yeah. And my first thought is like, yo, what if, like, I'm paying attention, but if I had someone, like, and then you think, all right, well, I got to pay them X amount of dollars to think about, and it just becomes like this big snowball of thinking, oh, maybe I should just manage my money a little bit better, because sometimes the liability isn't worth that extra growth, I guess, that you're seeking.
Yeah. Unless
it's substantial. I don't know, but that's been the big part for me in the business is, well, how do I better manage, what I have, and the relationships too? Because I always, again, speaking for myself, looking for new leads or trying to expand or fill up the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
You want to run ads and do all these things, and you can do that, and that all costs money. But the best response I get is when I open up my Rolodex or I open up my calendar or that data log of people that have worked with me, and I send out a message to all of them, and every time the response is so much better. It's like the point to business is not, at least for me, is not to get new people. The point is just to take care of the ones that I already have.
Yep.
If I can better take care of them and make the experience better, like why would you need new people?
Especially if they're, like you said, they have already dealt with you, right? And you're just bettering the experience, right? I've dealt with, friends and family that I've worked on their cars before, and I see something that, like, for example, I had worked on a friend of mine's car not too long ago, and I did some wiring, and the wiring, I'm looking at it now, years later, right? And I was like, hey, man, I'm going to go ahead and take care of this for you. And he was like, why, what's wrong with it? I'm like, no, it works. It works. But my skills have gone up since then, since this. And just, again, it's my name that's on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and take care of this. He's like, well, it's free, dude. Like, I'll take care of it. When you need some time, drop it off with me. I'll take care of it. You're good, right? And he's like, oh, no, man, I appreciate it. He's like, it's not a problem, though, man. Like, it's fine. And I was like, although it's not a problem, again, it's just the experience. Your experience with me is like, man, this guy didn't even need to. He kind of upgraded what I already had just for the heck of it, right? And that's just something that's, a small little thing that to them can mean, the world, right? Or, somebody, is like, hey, do you mind helping me out? Or I don't have the money right now. Can you help me out with something? I'm like, I'll walk you through it. I had another customer of mine call me, and he needed some extensive repairs done on his car, and I just didn't have the time to do it, right? I think my wife was pregnant with our second daughter at the time, and I was like, I just can't. I was like, she's about to pop. I was like, I can't leave just in case. I was like, but I'm at home. I was like, I can FaceTime you. I can walk you through the entire thing to tell you what to do. That way you're comfortable. And we did exactly that. I sat on the phone with him for like an hour, and I was just, chilling at the house. But I sat on the phone with him for a little bit, and I was like, all right, cool, do this, set this up, do this, do that, and just kind of directing him on where it needed to go. And then halfway through, he's like, okay, I think I got it. I was like, all right, just let me know if you, are feeling, a little leery or whatever. And I'll jump back on the phone with you. And so after, he was like, hey, man, I really appreciate it. Like, a lot of people, won't do that. But he's like, I was just a little nervous. And I was like, I get that. I was like, that was me at one point.
Yeah.
Right? I was hitting up everybody and their mom to help me out with certain things. And, some people just come through and some people don't. But for the people that did come through, they did the exact same thing. They're like, look, I'm not going to charge you. I can, but you want to learn how to work on your own car. Right. You want to know if something is to go wrong, right? I can take care of it.
Right.
And I was like, so this is just a small little thing that I'm able to do. He still comes to me and gets work done, on his cars.
Of course.
He's sent me people, over to me numerous times. So, but just in that, in that instance, he was like, man, I really do appreciate that.
I think we've talked about this. I think that's really what makes this whole thing work, because we've had this experience of we work with somebody, and I'll tell you, and you can I know you can speak on this. When you have a business, I'll be the first one to tell you it's great. Like, everything is good. Money's good, relationship's good, the process, you control your schedule, this, that, and the third. There's all those pros. But understand this, there's cons. Like, things happen, and not just like you have to work more or you mess things up. Like, you break things, you forget to schedule things, you forget to pay for things. I'll be the one to tell you, like, things will happen. But the difference is, are you going to man up to it? Because there's been so many experiences I know that you've had, that I've had, where things have happened to me and people run from them. Yeah. People they don't back them up, they don't stand on it, they don't help. whether they know they're wrong or whether they know they're right. Things happen. So the point to that is the last couple stories that you've talked about or you've mentioned or brought things up, you've helped that customer. You may have not been able to have the time to help him work on the car, but even with the newborn on the way, you gave him the time that you could.
Right.
And since you did that, where else is he going to go? Like the price doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at
Like
that
we're
point.
not talking about
Yeah.
money. It's like I know if I call Kye, if I call Austin, we're good. If I leave the car there, even if something happens, we're good.
Yeah.
If you can't deal with that, I don't suggest you even get up out of your seat. I don't suggest you walk into the world. I don't suggest you operate a business. I don't suggest you have kids. I don't suggest you do any of those things because it's all the same process. If you can't just be patient with your client, if you can't be patient with yourself, things are going to be good. But when things hit the fan, and they've happened with our cars, they've happened with, again, I can't speak for everyone. They've happened with daycare, preschool. They've happened with the kids. They've happened with, a family member will say some type of way. But it's like, if you don't know how to respond to that, you are going to have a very tough time with whatever journey you're on, whether you're working for someone or you're working for yourself. You've got one kid, no kids, 3 dogs, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't walk through and communicate when it's bad, good luck to you, because
it's rough. It can be very challenging, and that's, as when I first started out, I really didn't. I'm kind of just seeing the highs of it, right? Cool, I'm making money. I'm like, all right, cool. I got a extra, little money to throw into the projects. It's all gravy. And then I started dealing with certain customers and getting into certain situations. The first break that I had on a car, right? Moving too fast, not really paying attention, and I winded up breaking something. And I'm like, oh, man. And I was like, well, I got to let them know, like, hey, man, I messed up. Like, this is all me. I can fix it. It's just going to take a little bit longer, And they were fine, they were cool with it. But they also were saying the same thing, kind of, not that they were okay with it, but they were more accepting to it because they were like, oh, he owned up to it. Mm-hmm. Versus you get the car back, like, hey, man, something's going on with my car. Like, oh, I don't know what happened. It's just this or just that. I just flat out tell him. I'd rather face the music, like, right then and there.
Yeah, get it out the way. Rip the Band-Aid off.
Hey, man, look, I messed up, dude.
Rip it off.
Yeah.
Like, why are we in? Okay, I'll wait. I'll wait.
Look, hey, man.
It gets worse.
And I'll tell them the process. I was like, look, this is what I was doing. And I just was moving too fast. And I did this before I did this. And with the result of that was this is now broken.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's just what it is.
And this is all based off of just knowing how you want to be treated.
Yep, that's it.
You were treated a way and you didn't like it. Yep. And that's how it's like when I see something I don't like, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
That's how I'm with my kids. Like, my first thing, like, I saw how you treat it, not doing that with mine.
Yep.
Like, school with it. Yep,
like,
not.
I'm not vibing with that.
Not
so I'm gonna do something
it.
a little different. Yep.
Not doing it. And the second part, I think, to that is awareness.
Yeah.
Because if you're not aware to the trigger of it being good or bad,
yep.
How can you, or aware that you did mess up, or you did.
I just don't
not put the bolt back, or
I just don't like the feeling of. Well, one, like some of these modifications,
Mm-hmm.
even services that I'm doing, it could put you in danger, right?
Right.
I'm putting a wheel and tire together. If I don't do it right, that could mess up on you as you're driving.
Right.
And maybe it's not just you in the car. Hey, maybe you're taking your mom to the airport, or taking your kids to school, or you and your girl or whatever are on a date. You know what I'm saying? So you got to take that stuff into consideration. And then also, it's embarrassing too, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
To go somewhere thinking your car is supposed to operate like this, and it breaks down, or it has some weird noise, or you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's embarrassing. So not only for them in that moment, but then like, who the heck working on this?
Yeah.
And then it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because they're gonna tell. They're gonna tell you.
Yeah, and especially,
tell them.
you know, if you have a name for yourself, right? So with people knowing who I am and, you know, knowing, you know, my car and, you know, knowing my face and all that stuff, in that small community, as I work on some of these cars, right, I don't want the conversation to be like, yo, that guy is garbage. Like, do not go over there, right? I want it to be like, oh, yeah, Kye, Kye's a solid dude, you know. He did this, he did that. You know, I've had people that used to come to me and they no longer come to me because they just work on their own car, right? But they're like, oh, yeah, before I started working on my stuff, like, I took all my cars to Kye. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, cool. Do you still go to him? Like, oh, not anymore. I just do it myself.
Right.
Because that's something else about me as well is, like, I will give you the blueprint, right? People asking me, they're like, well, how did you figure this out? And I was like, oh, I called the company. I asked them and said, hey, I'm trying to rebuild a transmission.
I asked the right question.
Can you help me? Sure. Email back and forth, or I'm on the phone or whatever. And then somebody comes to me, man, I need somebody to work on my transmission. Can you help me out? I'm like, sure, I can do that. I can never work on it. I was like, I'll show you. Mm. Really? Yeah, I don't care. I didn't create this, you know. Now, what I'm going to show you, it takes certain tools you got to buy, right? Some of it is experience and knowledge. But I was like, the most part about it, I was like, you just got to take your time. If you're not in a rush, I was like, you can do it a couple of days. Like, I don't know. I'm like, some people are just like, I don't want to deal with it. Like, I'm not buying the tools. Mm-hmm. I'm not, you know, I'm not going to get that invested into it. I'd rather just pay somebody that has it all, and I'm fine. But I've had some people, I've showed them that. I'm like, look, this is the site you go to. This is the tool you buy. This is the part you buy. Here's a list. Boom. Yeah. And then when you get it, knock it out.
That's a cool thing, too, because you realize there's so many people in this world, you know, in my arena. It happens to me all the time. I'll bring a detailer on, and they either end up staying with a company that I hire them to help me with, mm-hmm. or, like, they'll go out and start their own detailing business. And you think, like, on the surface, like, how could you, like, why don't you put it in contract to stop them, this, that, and the third? But it's like, there's so many cars.
Yeah.
Like, stop them from what?
Hey.
And if anything, that's just proof in the pudding. Like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on to something.
Yep.
If everyone I bring on is still doing exactly what I taught them and showed them, am I really off? Like, that's actually a good thing if people are biting you or they want your knowledge and they can take it and go do it themselves, because guess what? They'll need more. And when they need more, who do they call? They come right back to you.
Yep.
Usually. Yeah. If you took care of them.
Yeah.
So it's communication, dude.
Yep.
With business and now family, it's very relatable. I see it very, very relatable. The more kids you have, some people will call it a challenge, but it's all the same. Like, mm-hmm. different product, different service, obviously, but it's the same awareness. Can you communicate with your partner? You know, mm-hmm. the better you can communicate mm-hmm. with your partner, the better the process is. And it's the same thing with business. The better you can communicate with your client. If you don't tell them you're going to show up late, you think they're going to tip you? You think they're going to open the door when you get there? So on and so forth.
Yep.
And then it's always, you know, flip the script. Like, how do we want to be treated?
Yeah.
When it does go wrong, or when the person is behind, do we want them to let us know, or just blow it over? Who cares? Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. It's the small things, man. Like communication, obviously. You know, like I had texted you before I came, like, hey, man, I'm a few miles down the road. Some accident had happened. You're like, all right, cool, no problem. But it's just the courtesy of it. Like, hey, you know, I'm coming down here. I'm trying to, you know, being on time. Something out of my power happened. I'm just letting you know I'm right down the road, you know. But yeah, same thing, you know, with your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, whatever. Having that communication factor in there, it helps and it goes a long way. Hey, I'm on my way home, rather than you get off work and then you just show up.
Right.
And it's like, hey, like, you didn't let me know when you was coming home. Or hey man, it's been 2 hours. Where the heck are you?
I haven't heard from you.
Yeah.
Usually you get home about this time.
Is something wrong?
Right.
Like, do I need to be worried?
Yep.
Or, oh no, I just this, I just that. And it's like, well, just let me know. Like,
Yep. And
hey,
it's not out of frustration. Like, yo, I'm just making sure we
Yeah.
had this scheduled. You good? Like,
Yeah.
what happened? I didn't
Yeah.
hear from you.
Yep.
Or they'll just still won't respond. And it's just, dude, come. And man, how come we don't work together no more? I don't ever hear from you. Like, bro, what do you
Nah, man, we just
What
not on
do
the
you
same
mean?
page.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, it looks like we got the end of it coming here. So,
Okay.
I want to say, it's good. I want to say, again, this is the Austin Alcorn Show, bringing it to an end. I believe this is episode 2. Good friend of mine, Kye Bourne. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for your time. Proud of you, man. I'm proud of the car, proud of what the business has been, proud of the family. And this has been brought to you by the Pod Place and Go Automotive, by the way. I hope we see you again. I hope this isn't the last time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Anytime. I really appreciate it. It was an honor.
Yes, sir. We'll see you on the next one.